great goddess Demeter had a young and beautiful daughter, Persephone, whose father was none other than the mighty son of Cronus, Zeus the Thunderer. One day, while the fair Persephone was frolicking lightheartedly in the flowery Nysian valley with her companions, the Oceanids, she flitted from bloom to bloom like a light-winged butterfly. She gathered lush roses, fragrant violets, snow-white lilies, and crimson hyacinths. In her innocence, Persephone played on, unaware of the fate her father Zeus had ordained for her. Little did she know that it would be long before she saw the clear light of the sun again, or breathed the sweet scent of flowers. Zeus had bestowed her hand upon his somber brother, Hades, the lord of the realm of shadows. It was in the gloom of the underworld, deprived of the warmth of the southern sun, that Persephone was destined to dwell. Watching her from afar, Hades resolved to seize her. He entreated Gaia, the goddess of the earth, to grow a flower of peerless beauty. Gaia consented, and a wondrous blossom sprang forth in the Nysian valley. Its intoxicating fragrance wafted far and wide. When Persephone caught sight of the flower, she reached out and plucked it by the stem. At that very moment, the earth rent asunder, and from the depths emerged the grim Hades in a golden chariot drawn by black steeds. He seized the young Persephone, lifted her onto his chariot, and in the blink of an eye, vanished into the bowels of the earth. Persephone had time only to utter a single cry of terror. Her scream echoed through the sea depths and reached the heights of bright Olympus. Yet none witnessed the abduction, save for Helios, the sun god. When Demeter heard her daughter's cry, she rushed to the Nysian valley. She searched everywhere and questioned the Oceanids, but they had seen nothing. A heavy sorrow settled upon Demeter's heart. Clad in dark raiment, the goddess wandered the earth for 9 days in a daze of grief, shedding bitter tears. On the 10th day, she came to Helios and implored him, "O radiant Helios, you who traverse the earth and sea in your golden chariot and see all, if you have any pity for a wretched mother, tell me where my daughter is." I heard her cry, "She has been stolen from me. Tell me who took her." Helios replied, "Great goddess, know that Zeus has given your daughter to his dark brother, Hades, to be his wife. He has carried her away to his kingdom of horrors. Prevail over your sorrow, for your daughter's husband is a powerful lord." At these words, Demeter's grief turned to rage. Indignant that Zeus had given Persephone away without her consent, she abandoned Olympus and the company of the gods. Disguised as a common mortal and draped in mourning weeds, she wandered among men. Because of her sorrow, all growth on earth ceased. Leaves withered and fell. Forests stood bare. The grass faded, and flowers bowed their heads and died. The orchards bore no fruit, and the vineyards dried up. The once fertile fields lay barren, and famine gripped the world. Plaintive moans were heard everywhere, and the human race faced extinction. But Demeter, consumed by her loss, saw and heard nothing. Eventually, she reached the city of Eleusis. There, by the city walls, she sat in the shade of an olive tree upon the stone of sorrow, near the well of the maidens. She sat motionless, like a statue, her dark robes falling in straight folds to the ground, tears falling silently from her eyes. The daughters of Celeus, the king of Eleusis, found her there. Seeing her grief, they asked who she was. Demeter did not reveal her divinity, claiming instead to be Deo from Crete, who had escaped from pirates. She asked to be taken into their home as a servant. Inside the palace, when Demeter crossed the threshold, her head touched the lintel, and the house was filled with a divine light. Metanera, the queen, sensed this was no ordinary mortal, and offered her own throne. But Demeter chose the humble seat of a servant. It was only through the jests of the maidservant Iambe that Demeter was finally moved to smile and taste food. While staying there, she nursed the king's son, Demophon, intending to grant him immortality by anointing him with ambrosia and placing him in the heart of a fire at night. However, Metanera witnessed this and screamed in terror. Angered, Demeter revealed herself in her true majesty, radiant, golden-haired, and fragrant, and commanded that a temple be built for her in Eleusis. Though the temple was built, Demeter's sorrow remained. The famine grew so dire that even the gods ceased to receive sacrifices. Finally, Zeus sent Iris, and then all the other gods, to plead with Demeter to return to Olympus. But she refused to set foot on the mountain or let the earth bear fruit until she saw her daughter. Thus, Zeus sent Hermes to the underworld. Hades agreed to let Persephone go. But first, he gave her a pomegranate seed to swallow, a symbol of the marriage bond that would always draw her back. Hermes escorted Persephone back to Eleusis in a golden chariot. When Demeter saw her daughter, she rushed to her, and mother and child were reunited in joy. Zeus decreed that Persephone would spend 2/3 of the year with her mother and 1/3 with her husband, Hades. With her daughter by her side, Demeter restored fertility to the earth. The forests turned green, flowers bloomed, and the fields grew heavy with grain. All of nature rejoiced. Yet, every year, when Persephone returns to the lightless realm of Hades, Demeter dons her dark robes once more. The leaves turn yellow and fall. The flowers fade, and the earth sleeps in the chill of winter, waiting for the joyful brilliance of spring when Persephone returns to her mother once again.